Welcome to another edition of Basagan and Trip. I'm Leloy Claudio. I teach History and Literature at DLSU, De La Salle University. Ngayon kung meron kayong komento, meron kayong tanong, meron kayong suggestions for future topics, please tweet me at Leloy Claudio. Agree ako with Manolo Quezon when he says that we should not commemorate martial law on the 21st, we should commemorate it on the 23rd. Dahil yung 23rd, noon talaga dineclare ni Marcos ang martial law, binackdate lang niya ito to 21 dahil sa pamahiin niya na lucky number ang numbers that are divisible by 7. So it was really the 23rd. But anyway, martial law is a big topic and I've talked about martial law a lot on this show, in other shows, and also on columns. So I want to address this topic a bit obliquely today. Ang gusto kong topic na pag-usapan ngayon ay yung topic ng diktadurya. Kasi marami sa ating mga Pilipino ngayon ay naniniwala na dahil bali ang demokrasya, maaari na kailangan natin bumalik sa isang sistema ng diktadurya. And what I want to say is this. Even if democracy is not always the best, dictatorships are worse. And I'm going to give you 5 reasons why dictatorships are worse than democracies. The first reason why democracies are less bad than dictatorships is more of an observation, which is that democracies tend to have a better record than dictatorships. Ngayon, marami nagsasabi na yung South Korea, yung Singapore, nagdaan sila sa isang period ng dictatorship and Singapore is even a kind of dictatorship until now and umunlad sila. Ngayon, hindi naman ako nagto-talk in absolutes. I do acknowledge that at certain points, semi-authoritarian or even authoritarian governments have done well for their countries. However, mas maraming maunlad na demokrasya kaysa sa maunlad na dictatorship because for every Singapore that you give me, I can give you North Korea, I can give you Zimbabwe or Venezuela or a country like Turkmenistan. Sa mga isa inyo na naniniwala na okay talaga ang dictatorship, try nyo tumira sa Turkmenistan na sobrang hirap ng mga tao. A lot of people are below the poverty line, a lot poorer than the Philippines, and they have no political rights. They can't even leave the country. Airport pa lang haharangin ka na because ganun ka-authoritarian ang mga tao at you have to deal with the secret police every day. Now, compare that to democracies. Now, I know that there are a lot of broken democracies in the world, the Philippines included. Pero, ang dami rin naman maunlad na demokrasya. So instead of always fantasizing about these authoritarian countries, think about countries like, for example, sa Scandinavia, places like Denmark, places like Sweden, where you have free healthcare, free education, and most of the needs of the people are addressed. Right? These countries did not achieve these systems because they had a dictator. These countries achieved their systems because they are democracies, they are parliamentary democracies. So, imbis na managinip tayo na may darating sa Pilipinas na aayusin lahat dahil diktador siya, managinip tayo realistically at tignan natin yung mga bansa na umunlad slowly through systems of democratic governance. Second reason why democracies are less bad than dictatorships is because democracies can at least self-correct, dictatorships cannot. Now, anong nangyayari sa isang diktador? Usually, ito yung pattern. Kung magaling yung diktador, yung first few years niya, marami siya nagagawa kasi ang dami niyang new ideas at nai-implement niya yung mga ideas na yung kaagad. Walang balakid dahil walang opposition. But after a while, sinasabi natin that dictatorships tend to ossify. What do we mean when we say ossify? The process of ossification is yung nag-harden siya at hindi na siya nagbabago. Kasi ganito yung nangyayari. Sa simula, ang dictator, marami siyang ideas at nakikipag-usap pa siya sa mga tao. But after a while, a dictator starts to believe his own propaganda. Lumalaki ang ulo because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And the people around him are people who are around him not because they like him or not because they have something to contribute, but usually because they are people who benefit from the dictatorship or people who appease the dictator's ego. So ang nangyayari sa dictator is, karamihan ng mga tao around him are yes men or yes women. Bakit? Kasi in a dictatorship, kung hindi ka umuo dun sa diktador, pwede ka malagot, pwede ka matanggal, or in certain cases, pwede ka pang ipapatay. At ito nangyayari sa lahat ng dictatorships. Now, why is it bad if you have yes men surrounding you? Because if you only have yes men surrounding you, you don't get feedback anymore. Wala na magsasabi sa'yo, boss, bad idea ata yan. Boss, hindi ata yan gagana. Dahil takot sila lahat sa'yo. Now, if everybody fears you, nobody can give you advice at lumalaki yung utak mo, nagkakaroon ka ng sarili mong mundo. Now, look at dictators from across history. Nawawala yung kanilang pagkatao. So, in Germany, Hitler, in the Soviet Union, Stalin, parang hindi na sila tao dahil wala na silang kaibigan. Wala na nagbibigay sa kanilang payo. Ang mga people na malapit sa kanila are people who just say, yes, boss, yes, boss, yes, boss. That's not a very effective system of governance. That is a system of governance that rots from within. Reason number 3 why democracies tend to be better than dictatorships is because dictatorships become violent. Now, yung central premise of course natin dito is that absolute power corrupts absolutely. Pag binigyan ka ng absolute power at may mga taong gustong palitan ng gobyerno or i-challenge yung iyong authority, your tendency is to react violently. Now, look at the most murderous regimes in the world. Adolf Hitler's Germany, Joseph Stalin's Soviet Union, Mao Zedong's Communist China, Pol Pot's Cambodia. What do they all have in common? Lahat ng mga ito, diktador. Now, let's look at one case study. Marami dito sa Pilipinas, mahal na mahal nila si Mao Zedong. Di ko alam kung bakit. Pero kung tingnan mo yung bagong data na lumalabas from the Chinese archives, from 1958 until 1962, tinataya na 45 million ang namatay under Mao's China either because of famine, forced labor, or executions. And that is because Mao wanted to achieve something and sa tingin niya, kung may mga balakid dun sa pag-achieve na yun, kailangan niyang patayin yung mga balakid na yun. Sound familiar? Ngayon, some people might say na para umunlad ang isang bayan, kailangan mo talaga pumatay ng marami. And to that, I tell you, shame on you. Number one, you are immoral because you have cheapened the lives of other people and co-citizens at that. Dahil in these cases, hindi lang naman mga guilty yung namamatay, pati yung mga walang kasalanan ay namamatay dahil usually hindi selective ang pagpatay ng mga diktador because there's no consequences. Pangalawa, killing really doesn't work. Like if you look at these countries na sobrang daming patayan nangyari, nung maraming namatay sa Soviet Union, was that the time when they took off economically? When Mao was killing people in the late 50s, early 60s, ito ba yung yumaman sila? Hindi. 1990s, 1980s na yumaman yung China nung tumigil na yung ganun kalaking patayan, right? And of course, Cambodia remains one of the poorest countries in the world dahil pinatay nila lahat ng mga magagaling doon sa Cambodia. So shame on you to believe that killing actually works. And we should condemn these forms of killings. And if we want to make sure na hindi marami ang mamamatay sa ating lipunan, we should guard against dictatorships. Okay, the fourth reason why dictatorships are worse than democracies is because information does not circulate under dictatorships. Bakit? Kasi kung dictatorship ka, usually controlled ang media, usually PR mo lang yung lumalabas at hindi naririnig yung kritisismo ng gobyerno mo. Ngayon, bakit ito problema? Again, because any organization that evolves and any organization that's effective is may feedback loop. Kahit saan ka pumunta, kunwari nag-shopping ka, gusto mong umunlad yung place kung saan ka nag-shopping or saan ka kumakain, bibigyan mo sila ng feedback, di ba? Gagawa ka ng feedback form. Ngayon, ang media ay feedback form ng mga gobyerno. Ngayon, pag pinutol mo yung feedback form na yan, ang nangyayari, hindi na alam ng gobyerno kung tama ba yung ginagawa nila o hindi. Dahil hindi na naririnig yung opinion ng taong bayan at wala nang tulay ang taong bayan para pakinggan sila ng gobyerno dahil siniil mo na yung media. So, effectively, wala kang feedback form. Ang problema pa dito, ang mga dictatorship, usually yumayabang yan. Ang ginagawa nila, ang sasabihin nila, pag pumalpak kami, hindi namin ito kasalanan. Ang may kasalanan nito, yung mga kalaban namin. So, in effect, hindi mo na sila makriticize at hindi ka na makakarating dun sa end of the problem. Now, I'm seeing this already happen with the Duterte administration. Now, they are not a full-blown dictatorship yet, although they're trying to be. But the problem here, usually, kunwari, may kasalanan ng Duterte administration. Ang sasabihin ng mga tao sa social media ay hindi kasalanan ni Tatay Digong yan, kasalanan niya ng mga dilaw. If you stop criticizing Tatay Digong, di mawawala yung pera. Yung kritisismo, hindi yun ang dahilan kung bakit may problema. May problema dahil may ginagawang mali ang mga taong nagpapatakbo ng gobyerno. Let's not confuse, rather, the problem with the criticism. And this confusion is one of the key confusions of dictatorial governments, and that is why they don't evolve. Fifth reason, the best and the brightest do not survive under dictatorships. Related to sa reason number 2 kanina. Sabi ko sa'yo, karamihan ng mga diktador na papaligiran ng mga yes man dahil yung mga lumalapit sa kanila yung gusto magpalakas. Ngayon, ang best and the brightest, yung mga taong magaling, yung mga taong kaya mag-handle ng birokrasya, most of the time, hindi sila yes men. Kunwari, ikaw ay isang magaling na ekonomista, pag may makita kang mali at alam mong mali yun, sasabihin mo yun sa presidente na sa tingin mo mali yun. Kung ikaw ay magaling na education expert, for example, pag may nakita kang mali, sasabihin mo yun. So the best and the brightest are actually critical minds. The best and the brightest are people who know when things are going wrong. But the problem is, in a dictatorship, pag lumaki na ang ulo ng diktador, hindi na siya nakikinig dun sa mga best and the brightest na yun, napapalitan sila by yes men. So ito yung pattern ng dictatorships. Usually, in the beginning, they tend to attract a lot of talented people who want to make a lot of change. But towards the end, ang nangyayari, yung mga talented people, nagsisialisan sila dahil napapaligiran na yung diktador ng mga tao na oo lang ng oo. Ganyan din ang nangyari sa Marcos regime. For example, yung simula, yung mga technocrats si Marcos would go into his cabinet meetings and say, I feel like this is not a cabinet meeting but a university meeting dahil sobrang daming PhDs around me. Towards the end of the administration of Marcos, either nawala na itong mga magagaling na technocrats na to, or hindi na sila pinapakinggan ni Marcos dahil yung pinapakinggan niya ay yung mga oligarchs at yung mga cronies lang niya. So effectively, yung best and the brightest ay hindi na nagamit ng diktadurya. Now, if we want to have the best and the brightest, we need a system like a democracy wherein nagsa-circulate yung mga tao, hindi isang grupo lang. Dahil kapag nalaos ng isang grupo, pag nagamit ng mga ideya nila, it's good na napapalitan sila para nagsa-circulate. Now, think about organizations. Marami sa inyo nalagay na sa isang organisasyon na yung boss, yung CEO, sobrang tagal na nandun na wala nang new ideas na mga pumapasok at yung mga tao around him are just the same people, so hindi na nag-grow yung organization. And I think countries behave in a similar way. Countries cannot grow if they're just run by the same people. Kahit gaano pa kagaling yan, okay? Kasi sinasabi ng maraming tao na kung magaling ang diktador, magaling din yung lipunan. That's true to some extent. Hindi ko dinideny na magaling na tao si Lee Kuan Yew. Pero kahit gaano kagaling pa yan, lahat ng tao ay nangangailangan ng tulong, lahat ng tao ay nangangailangan ng critical feedback, at yun yung nawawala in a system of dictatorship. So just to conclude, martial law. Marami sa atin ngayon ay nananaginip about yung golden age ng martial law. And yung reason for this is not because they really know kung ano yung nangyari ng martial law. I think the reason why a lot of people are sentimental about martial law is because disillusion sila dun sa nakikita nila ngayon. So it is very easy to project your hopes onto a past that never really existed. Naiintindihan ko yun. Marami kayong gusto para sa bansa at excited kayo na umunlad yung bansa niyo. I don't begrudge you that. But what we need to do is we need to be scientific. Tignan natin yung buong mundo at tignan natin yung odds of a dictatorship succeeding. Napakaliit ng odds of a dictatorship succeeding. Gusto niyo bang isugal yung bansa nyo ng ganun-ganun na lang? Gusto niyo bang isugal yung bansa nyo and to risk the possible effects of a dictatorship gone wrong? Thousands, even millions dead. Economies broken. People corrupted, di ba? Ang hirap mag-catch up from that. Ngayon, kung nababagalan kayo sa nangyayari sa demokrasya, mas mababagalan kayo sa mangyayari pag gumuho ang bansa nyo dahil sa isang diktadurya. Pag-isipan nyo yun ng mabuti, be careful what you ask for, because if what you ask for comes true, sarili nyo rin ang sisisihin nyo in the long run. Maraming salamat po.